was the pain, Jameis?
Yeah, just pain. It was pain everywhere. So we got to keep on pushing through and being resilient.
Sean Barkley. I swear, Sean Barkley is the best. Like, we survived the Giants, and now the Eagles got Sean Barkley. Lord have mercy, man.
All and lines it down the field. Caught by Cribbs at the 8-yard line, up the middle 10. He's to the 20. He's to the 25, 30, 35, 40. He's down the sideline, 50. I think he's going to go. He's to the 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Joshua Cribbs. And no.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Report. It's week 2. It's Saturday night. We're getting some lineups in. Want to make a quick video of some players so you guys can see tomorrow morning, Sunday. Super excited for this slate. I got a good feeling. Last week didn't go so well, but this week I think we can adapt and overcome and not overreact. That's the main focus of this week for me, is no overreactions. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump into what we have on the slate for tonight, and I'll also build a few lineups here after a while as I give you out these players that I like. We'll start this new segment I like to call the 5 positions, 5 players. So I'll give you 5 different players in each position: defense, tight end, quarterback, kicker, running back. Not kicker, just receiver, running back. Sorry, but yeah. Let's go ahead and jump in first with our wide receivers. One of the most interesting receivers to me this week, price adjusted and not overreacting to what we've seen last week, is that maybe this Bears team isn't as bad as we think they are. I know watching the game the other on Monday night was terrible to lose that comeback that quick, but hey, so did the Baltimore Ravens, and they're all 12-point favorites in this Browns game, which we'll head into that game as well. But my first player I really like this week, and I'm going to make him in a lot of lineups. I see him in a lot of my single entry stuff just for his potential target volume, I think, could increase. I think we didn't see all of what we could have seen last week. But Rome Odunze at $4,800, getting 6% ownership. Also, this segment's going to be kind of guys under that 5% and lower, ownership wise. Just kind of getting some dart throws out there and, see if we can get one to stick. And that's how you take down a tournament. And you got to get one of these guys, if not 2 of these guys, in these lower ownerships to really leapfrog the field if you're getting in positions to win. So first player I really like this week, Rome Odunze going to Detroit. Ben Johnson homecoming. A lot of emotions going on in this game. I think it's going to be a blowout. I mean, not a blowout, but a barn burner. I really think that this was it 46.5 total. It's went down a point, but it was at 47.5 earlier this week. Still love this game. I like this, kind of stay above that 45 point threshold, but not always. You can dip lower, and as we've seen last week, nothing's predictable. Everybody thinks they know the answer to this week, and it's not the case. We had the Jets and the Steelers absolutely rocket with like 65-point total. So, you never know. So I really like Odunze. I like Caleb Williams, and we'll get to him. But, with the Caleb Williams stacks for sure, not interested too much in DJ Moore at 5,600, 7% ownership. I think he's going to pull a little bit more ownership. I think Odunze should be lower, which I like. And I like Odunze better in that deep ball home run type threat, position down the field. Maybe he kind of plays that JMO role that we've seen with Ben Johnson's offense last year. But yeah, we'll see how this week shakes out. But I do like Rome Odunze at number 1. Number 2, we have Rashad Bateman. Now this one is an absolute scorcher of a dart throw at pulling up 1.5 ownership. Rashad Bateman at 4,600 in this Browns game. I love it. I love playing Rashad Bateman week to week. I really don't know, and no likely this week either. I don't think the Zay Flowers target share we've seen was legit. But we'll see how it plays out. I'm going to take the bet that he doesn't get 70% of targets down the stretch of the year. I like for Bateman to get involved here early against the Browns. Browns with that super good front 5. I mean, they can just really, Myles Garrett can wreck a game. So it's very scary to bet on that Baltimore side. Is why I'm tending to stay away from Baltimore. I think this game's a lot closer. I think it's a lower scoring game. I think it's a defensive battle. But I do like Rashad Bateman for a touchdown this week, and I like him playing DFS as well. $4,600, 1.5 ownership, can't beat it. So third player on our list here, we have Mr. Jalen Waddle. Now, this game was absolutely abysmal to watch. I was sitting on my chair waiting for the strike to tour Jalen down the field because I had too much of that last week, and I got absolutely, quite frankly, destroyed. But I do like him again this week against this beat up Patriots secondary. I think they can produce a little more offense here. And I think this is just, I don't want to overreact to the Dolphins situation because I think that's a point of leverage this week. I really think that, if you're higher on the Dolphins than what everyone else is, you can definitely grasp a hold of this. But Jalen Waddle at 3% ownership, I love it all day. He'll probably end up around 2. Really love Jalen Waddle this week. I love Tyreek as well. And we'll get to Tua. But Jalen Waddle at 5,400, it's too cheap for him, man. He has that 20-point play potential. Tyreek has play potential, and we're just waiting. Maybe I'm just wishful thinking, and I'm too high on this Dolphins, and maybe I'm wrong. But I want to take another stand this week, double down, push all the chips into the circle there, and just let it ride. Because I think Jalen Waddle and Tyreek is going to show a big improvement this week. I think Tua is going to get the ball out quicker. I really think that this Dolphins wide receiver duo can really get it done. And you're pulling your ownership away from Devon Achane, who I'm not as high on again this week. I'll be around the field with him, but I think he's coming around that 16% ownership, a little high for my liking for Achane. But the usage is there. It's understandable. But for GPPs, that's not how I want to roll. I'm rolling with some dart throws and, some lesser owned guys. And I think I can get a little different and still have that big, monster game potential out of these guys. Third on our list is not too much. I don't understand this ownership really, guys. It makes zero sense to me. 9% Devontae Smith in a good KC game. I mean, we've seen Devontae Smith absolutely eat the Kansas City defense before and ever. But Mr. Dallas Goedert is out this week, so I want to key in on Devontae Smith for some reason. I just feel a Devontae Smith. I don't like A.J. Brown this week. I'm sure he's probably going to do great, but I like Devontae Smith at $5,600. It's almost, what is that? That's so pretty much $1,000 price difference. I think they're the same player. They're a 1 and 2, either one. If one hits, usually the other one don't. So that's usually how it goes with those. So hopefully you're on the right Devontae Smith side. But I think price adjusted $5,600 in a good spot in a potential back to forth game. I like Devontae Smith. So he's going to be my third on there. And we'll stay in the same game. And we're not going to Hollywood Brown. We're going to go to someone a little bit more nasty. And it's an absolute punt, but it's worth a stab. Tyquan Thornton down here at $3,600. I know it's not appealing for most, but these are the plays that can break open, and we've seen Tyquan Thornton really stretch that field with the speed. So, we're counting on a Mahomes 60-yarder to Tyquan. We're not there for the Hollywood Brown usage. I've been aboard this Hollywood Brown train for maybe the past 4 years, and it's never paid off. So I'm not going there. 18% ownership for Hollywood Brown? Are you kidding me, dude? No way. Not paying that. I'll tip my hat, and you guys can have him. I don't have that much faith in. To me, this wide receiver room's still open. No one's a number one yet, but I think Tyquan could really be that field stretcher, and I like him at $3,600. Almost 2% ownership. Tyquan Thornton will be in a lot of my lineups this week at a super cheap punt play at $3,600. It allows you to get up to those running backs you want, allows you to get to those quarterbacks you want. It makes sense in a positive game script for the Chiefs if you think the Chiefs are going to kind of play from behind here, which I tend to believe. But we'll see. But I do like Tyquan Thornton, $3,600. honorable mention. Now this guy's a little bit more expensive, but still not near what I think he could be. Tet McMillian. I'm not even going to pronounce his name. $5,400, 10% ownership. Love that play this week. So the Saints had 4 red zone opportunities. I was watching the game of last week, and they convert on 1. So I'm betting on that this Cardinals defense is not that good, which I don't believe they are. I think Carolina can sufficiently move the ball with some actual, quarterback play from Bryce Young, which I love this week as well. Super low no guy. I think this game's going to be understaked. I think you can get by with some of these good receivers in this game, and Torrey McMillian is probably my favorite. Marvin Harrison, a close second there at 5,800 at 5%. Don't mind that play either. But I do like Torrey a little bit more because I'm going to be sticking him with Bryce Young, not getting too much calorie this week, probably none. So if we jump to running backs, we will see my first running back duo. Of course, and this is, fair grabs to anyone, but if you are playing Christian McCaffrey this week, you're probably smarter than I am because I'm not. I'm going to get to very little Christian McCaffrey. At 31% ownership, this ship can just fail and absolutely blow you guys out of the water. If you're all over that, so is everyone else. I think this creeps up to closer to 38%. But we're talking about a Mac Jones offense here, guys. This isn't a Brock Purdy offense with a Kittle and a healthy Juwan Jennings and a Pearsall and all the weapons. This is a makeshift offense. I'm fine with fading McCaffrey this week. I'll probably bite my words again like I did with Ibuka, but I was very close on Ibuka. Got that last second touchdown, which really helped him out there. But I was wrong, and I can admit that. Probably should have played him. Would have got me in a lot more money, perhaps. But this week I'm staying away from Christian McCaffrey. I'll just spend up and go to Saquon. I like Saquon a lot better in a better game environment. And who knows? Maybe we think that this game kind of just fizzles out with no offensive play from either side. I think that's very likely too. If you want to get a 30% running back, go ahead. I'm not doing that. I'm okay. You can have all the chalk you want. I can find value in other positions. I'd rather spend down and go to someone with a similar work usage of Kyron Williams, who is away, which I don't love, and McCaffrey's away too, which I don't love. But they're top tier plays, right? You can't not play them. But I'm saying I'm not going to get a lot of McCaffrey. I'm not going to get 30%. I might get 7%. I'm going to be super low on McCaffrey this week. That's my flag plant this week. I think it can get us there. So we'll stay steady with that. So we'll go ahead and jump into our first duo. We have Travion Henderson, and Ramondre Stevenson. Ramondre pulling 0.5% ownership at $500 cheaper than Travion. Travion at 1.2. He's probably going to be around 3 to 4. I think he gets steamed up a little bit come tomorrow, but either one's fine with me. They match my Dolphins stacks perfectly. Don't mind getting to Travion Henderson and Ramondre. Now, number 2 on this list, if we go up a little bit here at $5,700 and a 5% ownership tag, which is completely dumbfounded to me. I don't understand this. DeAndre Swift is going to play this Jahmyr Gibbs role this year. He's not as good as Jahmyr Gibbs, that's for certain, but he's still a pass catching back at $5,700. Give me that all day long. I like DeAndre Swift more than I like Travis Etienne. I'll say it. I like DeAndre Swift's ability to catch a lot more than Travis Etienne as well. I look for a bounce back and a better game environment. Well, they're very similar game environments, I guess, if we're comparing Etienne to Swift. I do like Swift better than Etienne. Etienne's fine, but I'll tend to stay a little bit. I think he comes in super under-owned, probably less than 5. But DeAndre Swift's another one of those players that can really bust a slate open with. If he got in last week, guys, he's scoring 20. He had, 14 fantasy points? If he scores and he gets you 20. So, and that's all you need at $5,700. I don't mind going there. DeAndre Swift at the Lions. Probably playing from behind, so positive pass script. Hopefully gets a lot of dump offs. Another player we're going to mention, and this one's a little bit more nastier. And I know, shout out to Brady Bird. He's on Josh Allen this week. I am not. I kind of tend to stay a little bit away from Josh Allen on these not so good games. He kind of seems always to fail me. Maybe it's just a personal take. I don't know. I don't like him as much this week. I like getting the leverage from a James Cook in there at 6,400 and at 5% ownership. I will take that all day long. Jimbo Cook's work usage is going to be elite. Always a threat in the end zone. Awesome pass catching back. Got paid. I look for James Cook to really take that next step up this week against this Jets team. Don't mind that at all. Brees Hall in the same game I'll mention is also awesome at 6,200. It's a coin flip between the two. I like either one of them. I think James Cook has a little bit higher ceiling than Brees Hall. But, there's always that risk. Maybe these two teams fizzle out in a defensive shootout or a defensive lockdown, I guess you would say. But give me James Cook at 5% ownership, $6,400. I don't mind that play at all. Jumping over to one of our last running back plays here, and I'll give an honorable mention as well. We have Isaiah Pacheco, and I know it's not beautiful, but at no ownership, literally none, not even a 0.5% ownership, is Isaiah Pacheco in that late window at 5,500. Could be part of the Kansas City script, slow this game down, take the ball out of Saquon's hands early and often. I look for Pacheco to probably score this week, but at 5,500, I don't mind that play. Not going to be owned for sure. So he's one of your, deep GPP milli type stuff, but definitely viable at 5,500. If we jump over to QB, we have Jared Goff sitting at my number one spot. These aren't really ranked from best to worst. They're all kind of similar in my opinion, but Jared Goff at 1% ownership, $6,000. That's super cheap for a guy who can really sling it out there in a dome, which we know he loves to play in. $6K, give me that all day long. I'm big on Jared Goff this week against this Bears team. I do not mind this at all. He's easy to stack. Amon-Ra, no ownership. J-Mo, no ownership. Laporta, little ownership. You can even stack him with your Jahmyr Gibbs lineups if you want. That's completely viable. I do love Jared Goff this week. At that 1% ownership, it's sitting nice for me. I really think this Detroit team's a little better than what we've seen, but I guess we'll have to wait and find out. But I do like to take some stabs on Jared Goff this week. In the same game, I do like Caleb Williams as well. 5,400, 4% ownership. I love that rushing upside of Caleb. We've seen it Monday night. I think he's going to rush a lot more this year. Maybe some design runs as well. I like for Caleb to play from behind in this game. So maybe throwing a lot to Rome Odunze, which I mentioned earlier. And we'll get to the tight end I really like. But Caleb Williams, definitely viable at 5,400. Caleb Williams, Jared Goff, probably going to be one of the most under-owned games of the week. At 46.5, I think you can definitely get there. That's just my take. I do like Caleb Williams. Another player I really like is Bryce Young, $5,100, no ownership. He's not Stoneman, Mac Jones, but he is a rushing quarterback, which we do like. He is known to sneak some in the end zones. I don't mind him at $5,100 at 1% ownership against this Cardinals defense. I don't think they're that good. Easy to stack. Leggett, Torrey McMillian, love it. If you want to throw Chuba in there as well, you can. But not scared to play Bryce Young this week. I think he's going to be there. He's going to be one of those guys that get there. Of course, I love Joe Burrow, and I love Jalen Hurts. If I'm not playing Saquon, I'm not really getting much Josh Allen and Lamar. I'm tending to stay away. Mahomes, though, at 64 is not bad. 4% ownership, 5% ownership at 6,200. Sorry, a little less than Kyler. I love that play too. I don't want you guys to think like I'm just automatically punting at quarterback, which is completely viable this week. We have these guys in this 5K range, this low 5K range can definitely get you there. We've seen it with Daniel Jones. it's possible, guys. So don't think you have to get these elite quarterbacks. Get some leverage off those elite quarterbacks. Perfectly fine. But yeah, I'm tending to stay away from these QBs. The higher, higher owned, um, big play potential quarterbacks, Lamar and Josh Allen. That's just a personal preference of mine. But I do like Bryce Young. If we stay in this next set of games, I'd really like this week. Think we're going to see improvements. Tua at 1% ownership absolutely can wreck a slate. We've seen it done before. We've seen him throw 4 touchdowns. Tua's record against the Patriots is 7-0, so something to take account for there. He likes playing against the Patriots, and they're at home. So yeah, I like Tua this week against the Patriots at 1% ownership, $5,300. Awesome play. I want to smash that again. I went there last week. I'm going back to the well one more time this week, guys. If you're going to win in DFS, this is how you got to do it. You got to take stabs. You got to take stands. And I really like Tua this week. I love Drake May as well. Getting a lot of Drake May, 5,200, 3% ownership, perfectly fine with me. We've seen some bright spots from Drake May, week 1, but we'll see. I think this could be a back and forth shootout between Miami and the Pats, and I really like Drake May and Tua. So 2 more quarterbacks there for you guys. My honorable mention quarterback is Joe Flacco. Didn't quite pan out last week. Didn't play bad either. 5K against this Baltimore pass defense. I'm playing more of the revenge narrative. I don't think this Baltimore secondary is as good as we initially thought. We kind of knew that from last year that, they were giving up the most air yards to receivers in the league. Quite possibly the same thing again this year. They like to gamble a lot on those edge rushes. So I really like Joe Flacco this week. I think he comes back to Baltimore, covers the spread, probably throws for 3 touchdowns and 300. Really like Joe Flacco at 5%, five grand, 2% ownership. Awesome play. I will mention Mac Jones. If you want to play him, I don't hate it, but I don't love it either. I think it's more leverage off of CMC, in my opinion. If you want to go with a Mac Jones stack, I think you get leverage, from CMC, but I don't think Mac Jones is a great NFL quarterback. I know people are only saying he only has to get you like 15 points. Not necessarily true if you have these guys going out here going for 30 to 35, which is definitely possible with these guys this week with the rushing upside. So tending to stay away from Mac Jones and kind of the game as a whole. But I figured I would mention him. Nobody else really stands out to me. T-Law, possibly. I don't like the connection with him and Brian Robinson. If Mac Jones was back on the team, then we probably could see a resurrection. But all those big games, I think I heard on a podcast that came from Mac Jones, which is true because Mac Jones was absolutely slinging it. I remember he came in one week like $4,400, I think. He absolutely crushed. He was in a Millie Maker, I think. So T-Law, I don't hate it at 5,600. It's a good game environment. Definitely leverage off of, Joe Burrow. If you think he outscores Joe Burrow, I don't hate it. Maybe you think it's a Chase Brown game and you want to go get off of Joe Burrow. You go to Chase Brown and you bring it back with the T-Law stack, single stack with Brian Thomas or a Travis Hunter. Don't hate either one of those. But that will do it for quarterbacks. Tight ends, we will discuss my favorite GPP mega brain play of the week. It's not Grand Calcaterra, I'll tell you that right now. Should have had a touchdown last week. Awesome game environment. I want to get pieces this week of this game environment. I didn't like last week because I knew that Browns defense was legit, but this Bengals offense can definitely bounce back here with a better performance, especially Burrow settled in a little bit more. They always kind of start out slow. We know this. But I like a Mike Gesicki under 1% ownership in your Millie Maker stuff at 3,400. I don't think it's a bad play. Not a great play, but it's not a bad play either. And I will be playing a lot of Mike Gesicki this week. I think he scores a touchdown. I really like Mike Gesicki this week against the Jags. Another player I really like is Jonnu Smith for the Steelers. I think he's going to get a lot more usage. I think the target volume's there. He's like another receiver. We've seen that in Miami. He's capable of big plays, big chunks. He's at 2% ownership. Jonnu Smith is on my list as well. The guys I'll be getting a lot of. Hunter Henry. is another one I like again this week. All over him last week. Love him again here at 4K. He moved up a little bit, $400 more. A little expensive, but I think we can afford it. Hunter Henry at 2% ownership. Awesome play there. A next player I like is Dalton Kincaid at $3,700. This is probably one of the more superb plays on the slate, in my opinion, at 3% ownership. $3,700 Kincaid. I'll take that all day long. It seems like him and Allen have gotten a little bit better connection. He's kind of healthier this year. So I like to see what we get out of Dalton Kincaid, against this Jets defense. I think Dalton Kincaid could probably score you around 12 or 14 with a touchdown. It's possible. It's very likely. They like him in the red zone a lot. I like him this week. Dalton Kincaid, 3% ownership. I will be definitely playing a lot of Dalton Kincaid. Probably one of the best value plays on the slate, in my opinion. Doesn't grade out the best, but it's hard to grade a tight end, really. Some weeks they'll get 10 targets, the next week they'll get 2. You just don't know. But another player in that tight end slot that I'll mention here, back to that Detroit and the Bears game script. I really like Colson Loveland. Caleb Williams was looking his way a lot. He was on the field a lot more than Kmet was. I don't mind Colson Loveland 3,700 either. Good game environment. Easy to stack with your quarterback, which I don't mind, is 0.4% ownership. Colson Loveland, welcome to the NFL. He's going to show out this game. The Bears are coming to play, so I think they might be a little bit more legit than we give them credit for. Defense, we'll jump into those real quick, and we'll make up some lineups. First defense on my slate is the Rams, 3,100, 4% ownership. I love that play. That's probably my top play again on the slate this week against Cam Ward. Panther defense, if you want to punt, no problems there. Against this Cardinals team, I don't think they're that great. $2,300. I don't mind punting there. Another, a cheapie is the Saints at 5% ownership, going against Mac Jones, $2,500. Mac Jones is known to throw interceptions. He's a little rusty. We'll see what he's got, but I like to bet. I like to bet this the Saints games. There might be some upset potential here. I really think a lot of people are underreacting to this Brock Purdy injury, and Mac Jones is going to step right in and play his best game. Super Mac, you know what I mean? We've seen this train derail before, and it's happened quickly. So I like the Saints defense, probably my favorite value play of the week. 5% ownership, be getting a lot there. Broncos, always a good play. Super good defense. A little expensive, 3,500, 1% ownership though, against Daniel Jones. I think that was a fluke experience. I could be wrong, but I don't think this resurrection is real. I think Denver shuts them out this week at 3,500 on the road. Give me Denver defense. And the fifth defense that I'll mention, kind of a sneaky one, is the Eagles D at 3K. 3% ownership. Love stacking them with Saquon. I think that's an awesome stack. Eagles and Saquon's kind of relatively cheap. They're not a superly expensive defense this week at 3K, 3% ownership. Give me the Eagles D, and that will round out our 5 positions at 5 players under 5%. Tell me if you guys like that in the comments. We'll go ahead and get our DraftKings here. Thank you guys for just subscribing to the channel. This has been so much fun. I'll let you know we will be live tomorrow. StreamYard apparently needed 24 hours notice for me to start streaming on there, which I found out to be very weird. But we will definitely be back this Sunday, 10:30 in the morning. We'll be there. If you guys want to join, I can drop the StreamYard link and we can chat. I mean, that's totally fine with me. I like that aspect. I think it's cool. I don't want to just hear a bunch of talking heads. I want to hear your guys' opinions as well, because you guys are in the DF streets as well. You're wanting to learn. You give some perspective too, to a casual player of how they're going to play out a slate, which I think is very vital for ownership reasons. But would love to have you guys on to come chat tomorrow, 10:30 Eastern. We'll be live.